Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, and Viksit Bharat 2047, in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions and commemorations. Today is commemorated as World Wetlands Day, which is commemorated on every 2nd February. About 1 in 8 people make their livelihoods from wetlands in ways that also deliver food, water, supplies, transport, and leisure. Wetland landscape positively impact mental well-being. Wetlands safeguard the 60% of humanity along coastlines against storm surges, hurricanes, and tsunamis. Wetlands are for our common future. Wetlands are ecosystems in which water is primary factor controlling the environment and associated plant and animal life. A broad definition of wetlands includes both freshwater and marine coastal ecosystems, such as all lakes and rivers, underground aquifers, swamps, and marshes. Wet grasslands, peatlands, oases, estuaries, deltas, and tidal flats, mangroves, and other coastal areas, coral reefs, and human-made sites such as fish ponds, rice paddles, reservoirs, and salt pans. These lands are critical to people and nature, given the intrinsic value of these ecosystems and their benefits and services, including their environmental, climate, ecological, social, economic, scientific, educational, cultural, recreational, and aesthetic contributions to sustainable development and human well-being. Although they occur only around 6% of the Earth's land surface, 40% of all plant and animal species live or breed in wetlands. Wetland biodiversity matters for our health, our food supply, for tourism, and for jobs. Wetlands are vital for humans, for other ecosystems, and for our climate, providing essential ecosystem services such as water regulation, including food control and water purification. More than 1 billion people across the world depend on wetlands for their livelihoods. That's about 1 in 8 people on Earth. So the theme for the World Wetland Day is protecting wetlands for our common future. There is also a dedicated website for Ramsars, which is an official website leading entity for the International Day, and get to know the importance of these ecosystems. So wetlands are among the ecosystems with the higher rates of decline, loss and degradation, indicators of current negative trends in global biodiversity and ecosystem functions are projected to continue in response to direct and indirect drivers such as rapid human population growth, unsustainable production and consumption, and associated technological development. as well as these adverse impacts of climate change. Wetlands are disappearing 3 times faster than forests and are its most threatened ecosystem. In just 50 years since 1970, 35% of the world's wetlands have been lost. Human activities that lead to loss this viscous cycle of wetland loss threatened livelihoods and deepening poverty is the result of mistakenly seeing wetlands as wastelands rather than life-giving sources of jobs, incomes, and essential ecosystem services. A key challenge is to change mindsets to encourage governments and communities to value and provide prioritize wetlands. There are currently over 2,500 Ramsar sites around the world. They cover over 2.5 million square kilometers, an area larger than Mexico. The network of Ramsar sites includes coastal and inland wetlands of all types. The Convention on Wetlands works to reverse wetland loss and degradation worldwide. So, where land and sea meet, a unique ecosystem is formed. Mangrove forests, a type of coastal wetland ecosystem, whether offering protection from climate change or supporting livelihoods, biodiversity, and more. Mangroves benefit us all. When we look at the background of this day, on 30th August 2021, the UN General Assembly proclaimed 22nd February as World Wetlands to raise awareness of the urgency of reversing the acceleration. So the day marks the day of the adoption of Convention on Wetlands of International Importance held in 1971 in the Iranian city of Ramsar on the shores of the Caspian Sea. Through the designation of protected areas, the implementation of effective policies and sharing of the knowledge, the convention enables countries to take measures to protect their wetlands and use them wisely, adopted by 172 countries. Healthy wetlands are essential to achieving the following sustainable development goals. Goal 6, which focuses on ensuring the availability and sustainability management of water and sanitation for all, and its target 6.6, which seeks to protect and restore water related ecosystems. SDG Goal 14 on the conservation and sustainable use of the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development, including its target 14.2, which seeks to sustainably manage and protect marine and ecosystem. Today is also commemorated, today and tomorrow is commemorated as Basant Panchami or Vasant Panchami, which is commemorating the birth of goddess Saraswati Devi. The Hindu festival of Vasant Panchami is celebrated to herald the spring and usually falls in February, sometimes late January. This year it takes place on February 2nd and 3rd. The name holds a big clue about the date of celebrations. Vasant translates to spring and the Pancham So Vasant translates to spring and Panchami means 5. So this day is held on the 5th day of Hindu calendar month, Maghamasa, which falls in the late January or early February. This festival is also spelled as Vasant Panchami, some parts of India. While this event is celebrated by Hindus and Hindu diaspora across the world, all over India and parts of Asia and so on, they celebrate it for different reasons. For some, it is a harvest festival, others believes and signifies it. So today, the worship of Indian goddess of knowledge, music, art, speech, wisdom, and learning takes place today and tomorrow. One particular legend associated significantly with this festival is the festival which deals with famous 4th century Sanskrit poet Kalidasa. It is said that his despair of getting dumped by his wife, he planned to end life by jumping in a river. The goddess Saraswati emerged from those waters before he could through with it and asked him only to bath in waters. As Kalidasa took the dip, the water blessed him with wisdom, and he emerged a changed man and later a famous poet. Accordingly, people are also commemorate Saraswati blessing during the festival. Devotees pray to this goddess in the hopes that they too can gain wisdom. The festival is celebrated in various ways depending on the region and religion. However, despite the customs and one tradition is common, the color yellow. Yellow holds a special meaning for this festival. People wear yellow saris an Indian draped garment, eat yellow sweets and food items, and decorate their homes with yellow flowers. Saraswati's affinity for color yellow is one reason it features so prominently during these celebrations. Another reason, fields around India became ripe with yellow flower of the crop. In keeping this, the traits of goddess being worshipped, people celebrate with music, dancing, and little bit of learning. There are also various legends associated with it, like the one adopted by Indian Muslim Sufis. Legend has it that Saint Hazrat Nizamuddin's disciple adopts Basant Panchami traditions to see his master laugh again after suffering from a personal loss. The festival starts being celebrated by this Christi order, the Muslim Sufi order from India and Pakistan, since 12th century. Maharaja Ranjit Singh encourages these celebrations as a social event. The king and his queen dress in yellow and fly kites to honor this day since 1780 to 1839 in encouragement for this event. Maharaja Ranjit Singh holds annual affairs where soldiers dress in yellow and show off their military skills, the annual Basant Fair from 1825. Bollywood celebrities join the howdies of famous industrialists, sportsmen, and television stars, wishing their followers and celebrating in amazing yellow costumes on February 16, 2020. So, Basant or Basant Panchami can be shortened to Basant or even called Saraswati Puja. Basant Panchami is celebrated by Hindus all around India, Nepal, Pakistan, even in Bali and Indonesia. Some people observe a fast for the entire day, and students who celebrate this day observe a fast until Pushpanjali period when offerings are given to the goddess. So, go yellow, do it with food, eat rice infused with saffron, add a little turmeric to your curry, buy a lemon tart, do it with clothes, try out Indian wear in color, or simply wear in a yellow colored garment. Do it with decor, set out your sunshine colored glass, arrange pots of cherry yellow flowers, tie a yellow bow, and so on. So use extensively yellow and go yellow. Honor the goddess. Saraswati embodies knowledge, music, art, speech, wisdom, and learning. So spend the day celebrating those skills and even honing them. Encourage others to hone their skills in this area too. Honor the goddess. So new activities are undertaken on this day are considered auspicious. So try out something new, a course, a class, or even a big date. Plan a new event on this day. So Basant Panchami marks the start of preparation for another major Indian festival, Holika or Holi, which is held 40 days later. It leads into another festival. The Hindus of Indonesia and the island of Bali call this day Hari Raya Saraswati, Great Day of Saraswati, and it marks the beginning of Balinese folk calendar. Celebrations also include a special ceremony called Aksharabhyasam or Vidya Arambam, which introduces little children to education. Continuing with learning theme, students all over India after the stationery to idols and images of Saraswati for blessings in that field. The southern India states called Basant Panchami, Sri Panchami. So, uh, same celebration, but different names for different cultures and traditions. So, not just learning, we love the emphasis on learning, but knowledge and wisdom are highlighted too. We think the world can never have enough of this particular talent. We see customs and traditions have been around for centuries. Our mind are thanking us for the glimpse into different culture. Music, dancing, and food to this we add color yellow, and you have the recipe for great fun festival that everyone wants to know more about. This week is also commemorated as World Interfaith Harmony Week from 1st to 7th September. World Interfaith Harmony Week, which is an annual event observed during the first week of February, since the General Assembly designation in 2010, the General Assembly pointed out that mutual understanding and interreligious dialogue constitute important dimensions of a culture of peace and establish World Interfaith Harmony Week as a way to promote harmony between all people and the World Interfaith Harmony Week, in short known as WIHW, conceived to promote a culture peace and non-violence, was the first proposed by King Abdullah II of Jordan at the United Nations in 2010. This was quickly adopted by the UN General Assembly Resolution 65 by 5, declaring the first week of. This was quickly adopted by the UN General Assembly Resolution 65 by 5, declaring the first week of February each year as the World Interfaith Harmony Week, calling on governments, institutions, and civil society to observe it with various programs and initiatives that would promote the aim of the. So, combating Hindu phobia, say no to hate speech incites violence and intolerance. The devastating effect of hatred is sadly nothing new. However, its scale and impact are now amplified by new communication technologies because fighting hatred, discrimination, racism, and inequality are among its core principles. The United Nations is working to confront hate speech at every turn, so you can too. Today is also commemorated as Burn Awareness Week. There is also commemorated as Burn Awareness Week from February 2nd to 8th, 2025 in the US. Burn Awareness Week is observed every year during the first full week in February and takes place on February 2nd to 8th this year. This is the time for organization to mobilize safety educators to sensitize people to the subjects of burns and fire. It also raises awareness on It's time for organizations to mobilize safety educators to sensitize people to the subjects of burns and fire. It also raises awareness of burn prevention methods in various communities. Burn treatments can be traced back to 1500 BC. In the United States, one person sustains a burn every 60 seconds. In fact, every year about 4 lakh people receive medical treatment for burns. Though most burns occur at home, 10% happen in workplace. There are three major types of burns, which are thermal or contact burns, electrical burns, and chemical burns. Chemical Thermal burns are burns caused by contact with hot objects or liquids, including fires and explosions. Electrical burns can occur through direct or non-direct contact with the electrical circuits. Chemical burns are brought on by exposure to corrosive materials or acids such as industrial vehicles. First degree burns affect only the outer layer of the skin, leaving the skin red and painful. Second degree burns leaves the skin blistered or swollen. In addition to redness and pain, third degree burns destroy the epidermis and the dermis, sometimes affecting the bones, muscles, and tendons. So, the first degree burns, the burn site should be immersed in cool water, not cold water or ice. Second, third degree burns require immediate medical treatment in a hospital or burn center. Skin grafts are surgical procedures that involve removing a thin layer of skin from any unburned part of the skin to cover the burned area. So it's time to educate, make it a special event by educating workers on burn prevention and first aid in workplace. This knowledge can save lives. Make a difference by volunteering your time and resources at a burn center. Your seemingly small actions might go along. Make a day even more special by recognizing individuals To make a difference by volunteering your time and resources at a burn center, your seemingly small actions might go a long way. Make the day even more special by recognizing individuals who have suffered from life changing burns. If you have experienced a burn in the past, share your story. Avoid hot spills, always keep hot solids and liquids away from table edges, and use safety cloths while handling such items. This applies to harsh chemicals. Perform fire drills and make sure they are easily accessible. Exists in the case of emergency. Carry out routine inspections of areas such as chimneys, fireplaces, and electrical connections to prevent mishaps. Always discard appliances with frayed wires and faulty connections, and cover all electrical outlets to prevent children from touching them. So install a fire alarm in your office or home. It is an opportunity to educate and inform people about the care and prevention of burns. Awareness is crucial. Providing enlightenment on prevention measures reduces the risks of home and workplace burns. The more people know, the better equipped they will be to avoid or handle dangerous situations. Burns Awareness Week should also be a time to honor recognized burn survivors. It's time to hear their stories and commend their courage. Today is also commemorated as Feeding Tube Awareness Week, which is observed worldwide during the first week in February and takes place from February 2nd to 6th this year. The feeding tube, a masterful invention of modern science, have saved millions of lives and increased the chances of infant survival at a tremendous rate. In 2011, the Feeding Tube Awareness Foundation designated a week to raise awareness about the importance of tubes in lives of people. Each February, families of patients and survivors come together to share this positive impact of feeding tubes in their lives and challenge the stigma around the same. The human body requires external feeding when the process of natural food intake and ingestion has been suspended by the body. Feeding tube saves lives and makes up for nutrition loss by carrying the food and medication to our stomachs. The practice of external feeding traces back to the age of Christ long before the long blue nozzles of polyurethane touched the bellies of those in need. They were wooden pipes and Egyptian medicine. In 2010, Tracy Nagy, a mother with a feeding tube dependent child, founded the Feeding Tube Awareness Foundation from her living room to share the positive impact of feeding tubes in the life of her son. Since then, the non-profit volunteer-run foundation has connected thousands of patients and survivors. In 2011, the foundation launched the first ever annual Feeding Tube Awareness Week to highlight the positive impact of feeding tubes in the lives of millions of people. Each year, families and caregivers of patients are encouraged to raise their voices against shame and ridicule on social media. Patients share medical reasons behind their tubes and educate the public about their condition. The week-long campaign brings families together as they express their gratitude towards the life-saving invention of feeding tubes. The second week of February was chosen because of the intersection with Valentine's Day. They loved their tubes. The week also aims to counter the stigma, shame, and negativity that surrounds the patients with tubes. Additionally, the week highlights the challenges embarking upon the families of patients and how all of us can help. Today is also commemorated as Intimate Apparel Market Week in US from February 2nd to 8th. This takes place 4 times every year during the first weeks of February, May, August, and November. It aims to provide an avenue for people in the intimate apparel industry to come together and share ideas. Today is also commemorated as Publicity for Profit Week from February 2nd to 8th in US. Publicity for Profit Week takes place from February 2nd to 8th every year in America. In marketing, publicity refers to the public visibility of awareness of any product, service, individual, or organization. It also refers to the movement and dissemination of information from the source to the general public, usually to the media. It also refers to the movement and dissemination of information from the sources to the general public, usually through media. A publicist carries out publicity and the strategic function of establishing and managing publicity is known as public relations. From the perspective of marketing, publicity is a vital component of promotion and marketing. The other elements of promotions include advertising, sales, promotion, direct marketing, and personal selling. The word publicity originates from the French word publicite, advertisement, publicity, as a practice ground originated in the core of Paris, where things such as shopping, tourism, and entertainment industry intersected and commercialized print media and a fledgling publishing industry. In urban society, consumption and consumer identities were relieved to the public through advertisements. So in the 19th century, American companies included pro sales messages in their publicity, as well as explanations and demonstrations. Manufacturers of patent medicine and cosmetics in US frequently described and showed consumers the before and after results of using their products. The Blair Manufacturing Company was among the first US companies to employ comparison between old-fashioned and progressive consumers in their advertisement of their products before and after changes, then became common in advertisements from 1910. The relative benefit of publicity was criticized by contemporary economist Thorsten Veblen, who argued that vendability does not equate to utility. He further estimated the added cost of publicity to the price consumers were paying. It was his opinion that the publicity for over-the-counter pharmaceutical and cosmetic products made up more than half the retail price. Today is also commemorated as Shape Up with Pickles Time from February 2nd to 8th. It takes place from February 2nd to 8th this year. This holiday encourages pickle lovers and haters to stock up on jars of this tasty treat. Put your bags of chips or chocolate bars and snack on a pickle instead. They are jam-packed with probiotics, vitamins, and minerals, have almost no fat. But Shape Up with Pickles time isn't just about gorging out suns on picked vegetables. This week is also about finding time to head to the gym or sequence in a home workout. Combining exercise with a nutritious treat can help us lose some weight and reaching our fitness goals. Today is also commemorated as British Yorkshire Pudding Day in UK. The first Sunday of February, the Big Pudding is honored for its centuries-long stalwart place in British food lexicon. Yorkshire pudding was the first devised as a way to conserve the fat that would drip off the roasting fowl or side of meat, catching the grease in the batter mix, flour and milk instead of dripping pan, and serving the resulting dish as part of the meal. In poorer quarters, since meat was expensive, Yorkshire puddings would be served before the main meal to dull the appetite before sparingly served course. Even the vegetarian ones is available and very much appreciated. Today is also commemorated as California Kiwi Fruit Day in US. It is a day dedicated to appreciating the incredible health benefits of eating kiwi fruits. Kiwi fruits were one native to China. They are also known as Chinese gooseberries or yangzhou. The fruit has a sharp and sweet flavor. Kiwi fruits are rich in essential nutrients like vitamin C and dietary fiber. They can also help boost the health of the heart, brain, eyes, and digestive system. They are also rich in iron, carotenoids, and antioxidants. And they are amazing. This is why we are using this day to celebrate one of the tastiest and healthiest foods of the world. Fruits are one of the oldest sources of sweet taste for humans. It was also one of the richest sources of vitamins and minerals. Fruits back then were not cultivated or stored like today. Our ancestors did not have the technology or know how to manage fruits, so the fruits were a rare delicacy. They had to consume them while fresh. Even in medieval periods, the case was the same. Our little fruit of interest, in particular scenario, is the kiwi fruit. The kiwi fruit was once found in only China. Historical records show the usage of fruit as far as back as 12th century. But even then, the fruit was consumed fresh most of the time for medicinal purposes. The plant was usually not cultivated or bred. The Chinese name for the fruit is yangzhou. Today is also commemorated as Dampier Significant Jerk Day, which is celebrated around the world on the first Sunday in February of each year. And this year it will be held on February 2nd. So it is a perfect occasion for finally getting rid of the jerk one and for all. This day encourages those who need a little push to reclaim their lives and stop allowing themselves to be mistreated. Ironically, it is during the month of love, but I think that makes it even better sense. Making self-love is just as important. Today is also commemorated as Groundhog Day in US on February 2nd. Only a groundhog named Punxsutawney Phil knows for sure when is winter. Each year on Groundhog Day, people flock to Gobier Knob in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, to await the forecast of the local rodent celebrity. Originating with German settlers who came to Pennsylvania in the 1700s and brought their seasonal superstitions with them, legend has it that if Phil sees his shadow on February 2nd, the winter chill will continue. Oddly, if the weather is cloudy and he doesn't see his shadow, we can expect warmer temperatures and early spring. So, groundhog is a tradition to be cherished. And yes, it is also a film by Bill Murray. There is also commemorated as Groundhog Job Shadow Day in US. This day enables students across the nation to get up a close look at the specificity of an actual job and how the skills they learn in school can be put into effective action in line with the jobs. On this day, students from across the country, shadow scientists, firefighters, mechanics, doctors, teachers, and every other type of profession. Today is also commemorated as Hedgehog Day in US. On February 2nd tends to live in the shadow of Groundhog Day. There is a difference. Those cute little balls of joy that has taken social media by storm. We are talking hedgehogs. Thanks to Instagram, these little babies have grown massively in popularity. So that's a thorny subject. So they love vegetables, crickets, cooked meats, and fruits. Not everyone can pull this off, but if you want one, they are legal in your state. Make sure you care for it properly. They show a wide range of emotions happy, shy, calm, feisty. Hedgehogs, like other pets, will definitely let you know how they feel. All these little creatures require is water, food, love, and warmth. Because they produce very little dander, hedgehogs makes a great pets for people who typically are prone to dander allergies. Hedgehogs are hyperallergenic. We don't suggest leaving your little hedgehog alone all the time, but since they are solitary creatures, they will not be get depressed if you are stuck at work for the day. Just to be sure to give them attention when you can. So hedgehogs are fine with being alone. There is also commemorated as Marmot Day in US on February 2nd every year. It is an Alaskan holiday established to celebrate marmots and Alaskan culture. Although local festivals have been part of the frontier life for decades, Marmot Day became an official holiday in 2009 when the 26th Alaska State Legislature officially passed Senate Bill 58. Marmots are large rodents with characteristically short but robust legs and large claws, well adapted to digging, stout bodies, and large heads and incisors to quickly process a variety of vegetation. These herbivores are active during the summer when found in groups, but are seen during the winter when they hibernate underground. Marmots typically live in burrows and hibernate there through the winter. Most marmots are highly social and use loud visits to communicate with one another, especially when alarmed. They mainly eat greens and many types of grasses, berries, lichens, mosses, roots, and flowers. Marmot Day is a celebration of marmots established on April 18, 2009 to celebrate interesting creature. It is popular in North American tradition that derives from a Pennsylvania that superstition. It has become a popular observance throughout the United States and Canada, even in some places abroad. The luncheon is traditional as part of celebrations. Marmot jokes and ginger snaps are shared among other festivities typical of party celebrations. In recent years, the celebration has been held at Convenient Ice Global Headquarters in Chinese country. At 12:45 p.m., a marmot is positioned outside its hole, and if it goes into the hole, legend has it summer is over. If it does not go into the hole, it is believed that there will be one more month of summer. Since its establishment over a decade ago, Marmot Day has become a well-loved Alaskan tradition. It celebrates Alaskan wildlife and help preserve Alaska's folk traditions that have declined over years. Today is also commemorated as National Brown Dog Day in US. It's an important reminder for us to celebrate every brown dog we know. One of the more common canine colors, brown dog, are found across breeds everywhere in the world. And the most popular of them is lovely Labrador breed. So for everyone with a brown dog, toned doggo, give them some extra special love on this day. Today is also commemorated as National Heavenly Hash Day in US. Heavenly hash is a candy mixed with lots of ingredients. It's also a type of rice pudding and type of ice cream. The day is set aside to celebrate and enjoy the wholesome treat of one of the world's most delicious and titillating cups of tasty goodness. Today is also commemorated as National River Day, which takes place every year on February 2nd to celebrate all rivers across the globe. The word river conjures up images of body of water, yet it's also a fairly unusual baby name. The name river has gained popularity over recent years. River is a gender-neutral English name that means stream of water that flows to the sea. It is derived from the Latin word ripa, which means river bank. A river is naturally flowing watercourse that flows towards an ocean, sea, lake, or another river, and usually fresh water. In some instances, a river may flow into the ground and become dry at the end of its course before reaching another source of water. Creeks, rivulets, brooks, streams, and rills are all terms used to describe small rivers. Today is also commemorated as National Tater Tot Day in US. These are nuggets of potatoes and upper echelon restaurants all across the US. You will find tater tots on the menu right next to the foie gras. People though of them as unwanted parts of potatoes. However, clever marketing actually making them more expensive eventually changed all that, and they weren't always in vogue. And they aren't all called tater tots everywhere. In Australia, you will discover that tater tots are not tater tots, they are potato gems. So other names for tater tots are potato rounds, potato puffs, potato cylinders, potato nuggets, potato croquettes, baby taters. That's right, potato cylinders as well. Today is also commemorated as National Ukulele Day in US. The ukulele is a four-stringed instrument that has origins in the Portugal but was adapted by Hawaiians in the 19th century. Its size can vary with larger instruments producing deeper tones. The ukulele became particularly popular in Hawaii during the reign of King Kalaki, who incorporated the instrument into performances at official state gatherings. It was later used in recordings by artists such as Bing Crosby and Elvis Presley. National Ukulele Day takes place on February 2nd, when ukulele players from around the country will strum their favorite tunes to celebrate. Today is also commemorated as Self-Renewal Day in US. Self-Renewal Day is celebrated every year in the United States on February 2nd. The aim is to help more people improve themselves and enhance their skills. Self-renewal can refer to anything done every day for personal gain and growth. It usually requires stepping out of comfort zones and trying things that enhance growth and maturity. It is activities one does in the present that provides benefits in the future. The holiday encourages people to analyze their skills and partake in activities that will improve their personalities. Today is also commemorated as Sled Dog Day in US, which is celebrated every year on February 2nd. This is a day set aside to honor the hardest working dog breed, the sled dogs. These large dogs are trained to wear a harness and pull heavy weights in the coldest regions. They were the only means of transport in areas such as Arctic for thousands of years, and they are still the most reliable way to transport supplies in more rural areas. Sled dogs played an important role in the exploration of Arctic and Antarctic poles and were instrumental during the Alaskan Gold Rush. Sled dogs are popular in the coldest regions of the world. They have been used in Canada, Norway, Sweden, Lapland, Finland, Siberia, and closer home, Alaska. Thought to have been crossbred with wolves, sled dogs have specifically bred to large and capable of carrying really heavy weight across large distances. In America, sled dogs were first kept by the Inuit people for transportation. During the Alaskan Gold Rush, the only way to access the gold camps in winter was the dog sled. Any supplies from food to medication would need to be moved by dog sled in winter because there were no other transportation available at the time. Sled dogs were also used to deliver mail. A serum was needed to treat the suffering people of Nome, but there was none in the town. The nearest town with the scrum with Nenana, but that was 600 miles away and inaccessible except by dog sled. Villagers between the two towns set up a relay with different teams of dogs working to get the serum to Nome. The serum reached in 6 days thanks to the efforts of the people and the hard-working sled dogs. The fewer dog sleds are necessary for survival and transportation. Instead, dog sledding has become a recreational activity with races set up to celebrate the sheer power and speed of incredible sled dog breeds. The dogs pull their sleds as a team, and each member of a team is carefully chosen to ensure that they make up for each other's weakness and work well together. Today is also commemorated as the Record of a Sneeze Day in US. Its genesis can be traced to January 9th, 1984, when the first motion picture was recognized as a copyrightable work of art. The motion picture was the Edison kinetoscope record of a sneeze. They submitted still photograph of a film's 45 frames for copyright purpose. Fred Ott is sneezing in this scene. William K. L. Dixon, Edison's assistant and the project supervisor for the new motion film, filed a copyright application. The still picture frames are recaptured and reassembled into a moving picture. Experts say that there are more than just germs and pollen to blame for an asthma attack. Sneezing can occur more frequently upon exposure to bright light such as sunshine. One study conducted at the Saarland University Medical Center in Germany discovered that nearly all of more than 1,000 patients tested in the ENT department exhibited photic light-induced sneeze reflexes. The researchers amusingly called this echo autosomal compelling helio-ophthalmic outburst. Humans don't sneeze while they are fast asleep. According to some theories, the body muscles relax and reflexes slow down during rapid eye movement. A sneezing fit can last for a long time. The Guinness Book of World Records lists a sneezing fit lasting 976 days. So Dawn Griffiths set a new record for the lengthiest period of sneezing. During the first 365 days, she had sneezed an estimate 1 million times. Today is also commemorated as Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in US. It was an agreement signed on February 2nd, 1848 by the United States of America and Mexico. This surrendered the Mexican claim to Texas and they came to the terms that their territory ended in Rio Grande, which would act as their border. The Mexican government also stated in the agreement that they would let go of New Mexico for a sum of $15 million. This decision had an impact on the country by reducing the total size of Mexico to almost half of its initial size. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations and we'll move on to presentations. Today we have with us Mr. Pradeep Yara. He would be presenting on protecting wetlands. So over to you, Pradeep, for your presentation. You can unmute yourself, start your video.
A very good evening, one and all. Thanks a lot, Ravindra sir, uh, for the insightful commemorations. First of all, I wish you all Vasanta Panchami, Festival of Knowledge, and Goddess Saraswati. So, before starting the presentation, I'd like to share a few details about me. My name is Pradeep. I focus in the field of animal welfare for the close to more than 10 years. So we involved in a lot of rescues, rescue injured animals, and also apart from that, we also run some series of educational talks to uh, ignite compassion in children. At the same time, we have the other cases. A lot of times, unlike the humans, we do animals suffer from a lot of violence and oppressions from the society. We get a lot of cruelty cases. So we also deal with a lot of animal cruelty cases. So we work with a lot of NGOs and also at an individual level, I have been helping out. So today I'm going to present about the protecting wetlands. Just a moment, I'll share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Continue.
Thanks a lot for this. So today the topic is about wetlands. So wetlands are one of the uh, prime important part of our ecosystem. So and that's the reason every year February 2nd we've been celebrated as World Wetland Day. Starting from the year of 1997, it has been proposed, and every year there have the United Nations and also the Ramsar conventions. So every year they choose a different themes. So this year the theme is to protecting our wetlands for our common future. And the themes will be value, protect, and inspire. So before going to that, like 1 minute, just a minute. Sorry for taking. So, life is sustained on planet Earth by various natural resources. So, if we talk about our life on planet, we have many kinds of resources. And with the growing or flourishing economy, as our economy is blooming, we are seeing that 5G technologies are going, and also a lot of infrastructure is going on. So, what happened is the vital natural resources they have been used for this building of skyscrapers and everything. So in the matter of that, it causes a lot of depletion for the natural resources. Apart from that, it is increasingly being realized that planet Earth is facing a multitude of environmental problems. One is, as I told you, the depletion of natural resources and threatening of the very existence of many ecosystems. So wetlands is considered to be one of the threatened ecosystems. So realizing this importance, every year the Convention of Parties is COP15. So every year they organize these conventions on wetlands. So this year they have been organizing this year, every year it takes place between the conference takes place between 3 years. So the government representatives from each of the 172 contracting parties meet and facilitate and discuss about the conservation and sustainable use of wetlands, and also at the same time foster international collaborations to agree on a program for the next 3 years. Like first 3 years, we have decided about the conservation of these sustainable resources. So then this year, they will discuss about how to use of the wetlands, and also foster and also how to take care of them sustainably. And this year, it has been scheduled for the 23rd to 31st of July in Victoria and Zimbabwe. So the Republic of Zimbabwe is hosting this. The Ministry of under the aegis of Ministry of Environment, Climate, and Tourism and Hospitality. These are the key partners of the COP15 and World Wetland Day 2025. And it is a day which also serves a platform to promote the conservation of wetlands and highlight the values. So shining the spotlight on highly productive and threatened ecosystems. Wetlands have been becoming although there have been numerous things, benefits of the wetlands, they have been facing a multitude of problems. So this is a global awareness campaign which needs for every nations and everywhere to protect our planet's wetlands. And it also reminds us healthy wetlands, as Ravindra sir has previously quoted, healthy wetlands are essential for our universal well-being and long-term survival. Every year, 2nd of February since 1997, it has been celebrated about it. And where it actually wetlands has been adopted. So it has been adopted on as an international treaty in 1971 in Ramsar, Iran, along the shores of Caspian Sea. And it is the world's first modern global and multilateral environment agreement, only singly devoted to the specific ecosystem wetlands. Today, around 172 countries are its membership of contracting parties. United Nations, each is committed to conservation and also sustainable use of these wetlands in their countries. Aligned with the UN Decade Ecosystem Restoration, which calls for the protection and revival of ecosystem across the world, So from 2021 to 2030. And if you talk about the importance of wetlands are considered to be the world's most productive ecosystem. They provide food sequester, so they provide food and sequester carbon, help in flood control and recharge groundwater. So if we talk about wetlands, they are very important for the crop food production. At the same time, they have been carbon sequester as well. And monitoring of the natural disasters and floods and all, these wetlands acts as an flood control, and also they recharge the groundwater. Apart from that, the vegetation that grows in wetlands consumed in various ways, such as it can help the local community, like building the mats, houses, and as a and some of the wildlife refuge as a food. Wetlands are the areas of land that are either seasonally and permanently covered by the water or nearly saturated by the water. So the theme, as we mentioned, that is 2025 theme, protecting wetlands for a common future. This is the theme for the year of 2025. So if we talk about the specific what actually the theme is, it underscores the need for collaboration and foresight. And as per the message, by valuing and protecting this richly biodiverse and productive ecosystem and inspiring action on their belief, together we can safeguard our common future and well-being. So as per the message, you should see that this primarily concentrated in richly biodiversity and productive ecosystem. And through our inspiring actions and we have together, we safeguard our common future and well-being. And World Wetland Day 2025 graphic represents people from across the globe joining together in our love towards our planet, wetlands, and commitment to protect them. And colors, if you can see different colors in that, the logo of the color, you see that Zimbabwe flag. If you can see closely, there is a Zimbabwe flag over there. And since the event is being held in Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe, and it is a global conservation arena for conference of parties, that is COP15. Coming to our India's landscape of wetlands, we have around total 1,307 wetlands. Among them, 85 Ramsar conventions are there, and significant wetlands around 130, and other wetlands about 1,109. So many of the wetlands are unidentified by the some are left behind because of the various reasons. So if we talk about different wetlands, we have inland wetlands. These are inland wetlands. There are two types. One is natural and man-made. So naturals are like natural wetlands are something like lakes, oxbow lakes, and high altitude wetlands and waterlogged lanes, river streams. So these are naturally originated, and these actually are considered to be the natural wetlands. And some are man-made. So, for example, if we take about reservoirs and tanks, small tanks, fish ponds we create. So in agriculture also we created a lot of tanks and waterlogged systems and salt pans, aquaculture ponds, lagoons and backwaters. So these coral reefs, these are all comes under this man-made. And if we talk about naturally, we have salt marsh and also coral reefs, salt pans. So these everything comes under the natural part. So wetlands are serves as a precious and essential ecosystem, teeming with life, service, and value for all of society. They make our existence on Earth possible, highly interconnected and biodiverse. They link mountains to oceans, span to national borders, connect different habitats and facilitate the movement of species. Water is a primary factor for controlling the environment and plant and animal life. So here the water plays a significant role in controlling the environment and plants and also animal life. Maybe as I mentioned, there are different forms of wetlands. So they range from saltwater or freshwater or inland or coastal, natural or human-made permanently and temporary static or flowing. The freshland wetlands includes rivers, lakes, pools, floodplains, peatlands, marshes, swamps, and saltwater wetlands use includes estuaries, mudflats, saltwater marshes, mangroves, lagoons, and coral reefs and shellfish reefs. And human-made wetlands, we talk about this includes fish ponds, rice paddies, reservoirs, and salt pans. So why wetlands matter? We have seen a lot of things covering about what actually wetlands are useful for and types of wetlands. And now when we talk about the significance of wetlands, why wetlands should be and what is the significance? And if you talk about the civilizations, human societies have an essential and fundamental relationship to wetlands. So the earliest city-based civilization were located in the great food plains of North Africa, Eurasia, and the Andes, and the Mesoamerica, testament to the importance of the wetlands for humankind. So the civilizations, most of the city-based civilizations, which actually located in great food plains, so they actually mention about the significant importance of the wetlands for the mankind. And when you talk about the sustenance, these wetlands provide fresh water food for eons. Supply almost food for supply almost all our fresh water. There's their slit rich soil plants naturally filter and store water, and these are actually referred as an Earth's kidneys, like the how our body, kidney functions. Similarly, these wetlands functions, they actually filter the storage water and they which are slit rich of soil and plants. And more than half of the world relies on wetland grown produces for their stable diet. If you talk about rice or paddy, rice or paddy, most of the staple diet, which is in the Asian continent and couple of countries. So most of the world relies on wetland grown produce crops. And fish from wetlands are the primary source of protein for greater than 1 billion people worldwide. Rice paddies feed 3.5 billion people annually. If you talk about rice consumption in feed actually feeds more than 3.5 people. Irrigation is particularly important in regions where rainfall is limited or irregular. Certain part of the regions, rainfall is very limited or uneven rainfall is there. So at particular time, these wetlands help a lot. Aquaculture is the fastest growing foods production sector. You talk about the food productions and also the livelihood part of it. Many certain farmers, they depend on the aquaculture and produce, and this is going to be the most of the coastal areas. So the aquaculture is one of the fastest growing food production. And water, the bloodstream of the biosphere, which sustains ecosystem and people, is made available by wetlands. So when we talk about their natural disasters and climate change, we are seeing a lot of climate change, and we've seen about Los Angeles and Elbow and a lot of other particular areas. So we are actually having a climate, many of the natural disasters. So empowering resilience and mitigating the importance of the climate change and extreme weather events. So key components of Earth's climate system. Their services make the environment more resilient and adaptable to climate change. They help to stabilize the climate, crucial for water security. They store more carbon than any other ecosystems, helps to protect against such as floods and droughts. Greater than 90% of natural disasters are water related. It may be flood or cyclones. Everything are related to. They are naturally water related. Their natural water infrastructure helps to reduce floods and delay and relieve droughts. Each acre of inland water lanes absorbs about up to 1.5 million gallons of flood water. Services of healthy wetlands reduce humanitarian impacts of natural disasters. And at the same time, coping capacities of communities and their sustainable long-term. So when you talk about the culture point of view, so we have seen nature have like generally every culture, nature, and also every part of the biosphere, they are all interconnected. We talk about connecting people with nature, hold significant cultural and recreational value for many communities, often tied to long-standing cultural practices. Some, if you see many part of the Indian traditional culture, Hindu culture, many of the times, we actually worship nature and also we protect them. And if you see in Telugu also there is a quote that Vriksho Rakshata Rakshitaha. So we actually preserve the trees. Similarly, in every culture, many part of the world, they have a different part of the cultural practices, which actually they uh, preserve the culture traditions and also they use the nature, enabling the human society to thrive. Nearly all wetlands of international importance, they are Ramsar sites, provide cultural ecosystem services. Greater than 50% have spiritual and inspirational value. People are at the heart of wetland conservation. We have seen a lot of insights about the wetlands, how they have been very important, and how the United Nations and other conference of parties, even the various 172 countries, how they are preserving. But still, you know, wetlands are under threat. The first foremost thing is among the most threatened ecosystems. Greater than 85% of wetlands have been lost since 1700s. At least 35% lost since 1970, with the loss of accelerating. Rate of loss is 3x faster than the forest. Risk factors includes this may be due to the unsustainable development. Right now, if you see that many of the cities are many urban cities are any planning structure, so they have been developing in an unsustainable manner. Another is the pollution and climate change. Climate change we are seeing that Delhi, capital city, we have seen a lot of multitude of problems we have been facing, and alteration to hydrological regimes, loss of connectivity, and invasive species, and also over extraction of water, groundwater resources. We have seen that lot of depletion of water, groundwater resources, plants and animals, and other natural resources. And infilling and drainage for conversion to agriculture and urban settlements possesses significant threats. And wetland species face a risk of extinction. 1 in 3 freshwater species and 25% of wetland species face extinction from wetland decline. So when you talk about the wetlands, they are home for marine migratory birds. So whenever there is a lot of disruption in the wetlands, so most of the alarmingly their species has also getting it had impacted on the species declaration also. 81% of inland wetland species and 36% of coastal and marine species have been declined in the last 50 years. If we can see this, 81% of Indian wetland species is 81% of inland wetland species and 36% of coastal and marine species have declined in the last 50 years. Freshwater species have seen an 83% decline on an average since 1970. And 70% of all global freshwater extraction and diversion is for agriculture. 70% of global freshwater have been diverted for agriculture purposes. So even if you talk about the Supreme Court of India, Supreme Court, it has also expressed concerns over the disappearance of the wetlands in India. So, and it has also told that a wetland is a land area that has a water either permanently or seasonally, and it is taken on the characteristics of the district ecosystem. So it has ordered many of the state and also states to take the measures for the wetland conservation, because 36 amount as per the estimate, 36 of the wetlands are under extinction. So, as per the Supreme Court guidelines and all, they have instructed that to take care of that, because as it is home to many of the birds species, and also the survival as per our human survival also depends upon the wetlands. So, how we can make an impact? So by organizing webinars, Ravindra sir has given us such a wonderful platform. So you can also raise your voice through social media. You can use a hashtag wetlands day, and you can also, if you have taken part in any of the wetland conservation projects, you can share the stories. And if not, you can also search in Google. You can get a lot of wetland conservation projects, and you can also share their success story. And if you have got any ideas, like everyone has a very good idea. So idea should not be should not be kept in dormant. It should be explained to the people, and ideas that can uh, make people and act for wetlands, and discussions on how sustainable use of wetlands benefits people and the planet, and best practices and innovative approaches to wetland management. How far we can use the best practices and innovative approaches to tackle the wetland management, and personal stories about wetlands. Like, what do you think about wetland? How you can make a difference in the wetland conservation, and in your areas, or in your locality, or in your district, there may be also wetlands which are which are not at been a part of Ramsar Convention, or any even in the part not in the part of in our India's wetland scape. So you can identify that, and maybe you can take a small project. You can see that if it is how it is been affected. Maybe it may be affected to the pollution. It may be affected to the groundwater depletion, or maybe it may be affected to the excessive use of excessive land uses. So where it has lost its significance, you can try to revive it by taking small actions, and also you can do a small survey, and maybe you can send it to the government bodies to recognize this recognize this as a wetland, and revive its natural beauty. And maybe you can, through your small actions, maybe the birds can come to your the natural part of it. I mean, many of these species, flora and fauna, they can recoup back to the wetland area. And finally, our actions on behalf of wetlands today will shape tomorrow's of generations to come. So what our actions you take today will definitely shape our tomorrow's generation, that our future generations will be able to see it. It's something like, if you plant a tree now, our future generations will eat the fruit. And finally, this is a quote by Dr. Musunda Mobe, Secretary General of Convention for Wetlands. Wherever land meets water, life bonds. Wetlands exist in every corner of this beautiful planet, and have often been referred to as arteries and veins of the earth. Majestic and mighty wetlands are a sight to behold. And together we can make a sustainable difference in conserving our wetlands. So act for wetlands, preserve our wetlands. Thank you for all for listening to me so patiently. Now, if you have any questions, you can free to type in either in chat box or else you can raise your hand. Ravinder sir can and over to you, Ravinder sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah, congratulations, Pradeep, for your insightful presentation. This also is an official presentation from UN, World Wetlands Day. So with authentic information that we all can take it forward to conserve, preserve, and promote World Wetlands Day. So let's adapt wetlands around, and it's high time that we need to protect wetlands and also recognize them in all parts of the India, which which have become extinct, and we also need to conserve wetlands which are becoming extinct. So it was a wonderful presentation. Thank you. We wish you all the success for your future endeavors.
Thanks a
Participants.
lot. Thanks a lot, sir, for being always being encourager. Wish to organize more and more insightful sessions.
Yeah, sure. So with this, we conclude today's sessions. We thank you one and all for joining us, and we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form that is shared in the form of polls. And happy Vasant Panchami to all of you today and tomorrow. 2 days we have Panchami, so people are celebrating today and tomorrow. So wish you all happy Vasant Panchami, and it is a good day to start, any course or any activity. So coincidentally, today is also a day for conservation. Today is a day for wildlife conservation, and also today is a day for peace, harmony. So let's all today be more humane, more compassionate. From the day on. So we wish you once again happy Vasant Panchami, and request everyone to fill the feedback form before leaving the platform. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.